Welcome to another episode of Pakistan on a Plate. My name is Nilofer Afridi Kazi. This is a very different kind of episode. You're used to seeing me traveling all over the country and showing you how incredible, amazing traditional recipes are made on location. This episode is going to look at my first book, Culinary Tales from Balochistan. I've had the quintessentially traditional book launches in England where the book was launched and published, and then also some incredible book launches in Peshawar, Quetta, Islamabad. But I've had this incredible opportunity to have a very different kind of book event. Why not have an art exhibition inspired by the book? As the saying goes, life can be an art form, art feeds life. So why not have a book inspire an artist? I'm privileged to know Anjum Noon, who is a very well-known Pakistani artist, and she agreed to have an exhibition based on culinary tales from Balochistan. So we're going to have a conversation with Anjum and see how this incredible process emerged into this amazing set of art pieces. Hi Anjum.
Hi Nino.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, no, I'm the one who should thank you because firstly, I love collaborating with artists as well. But this particularly has been something which has been a journey for myself.
I want to also remind the audience who have followed Pakistan on a Plate, the series, that Anjum actually was a chef on one of our episodes of Culinary. Remember?
Yes,
and it was
much
actually the first one that I filmed.
Yeah, that's right.
So Anjum has been on the journey
since then.
So it's just beautiful that, now we are creating something together. I thought of you immediately because I remember the incredible work that you did with other, sort of artists, fashion designers, if I may be correct, right? What was your first impression when I suggested the idea?
Well, I was excited, truthfully. And then immediately you had sent me the soft copy. Of course, initially when you hear it's about food, you're like, oh, okay, food, so it's just going to be food and recipes. But no, it was the contrary. It's like a diary, it's a journal, it's a travel. It takes you to places where, personally, I've never been to Balochistan. But I do know so many people from Balochistan, as in, parents, friends and everything. So I've got these snippets. But through this book, I was able to create my own travel.
Amazing.
So that was very exciting because one thing is that you travel there, you have a map and blah, 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 and then you're from there, you have your roots and so I did feel
So when you read the book, how as an artist did you look upon it?
Why I fancied this work was because your grandmother was from somewhere else.
Yes.
So she sort of travels the world.
Yes.
And your grandfather's family comes from somewhere else.
Yes.
And then they sort of settle in this area. So it's a very unique for what it is. That's one thing, but it's also catharsis and a catalyst, because it's bringing joy from two different places, and then kind of binding it, and you taking food as the subject you want to explore.
Yes,
says it all, because food is memory and expression of childhood, smells and tastes, and is sensual, kind of taps into many aspects of a human. It takes you back. So I just felt that, here I'm on my own special journey, since I myself come from a household where we are made of different people.
So Anjum, how did you decide, which aspects of the book? Did you do it chapter-wise? Did you do it thematically? Did you do it through overall inspirational? Like I want the audience here to also get an idea of how did you transform from one form of art into this body of art?
All right. So, firstly, I think it's an ode to your book. So at least let's keep that alive in the body of work. So there are about 13 chapters. Some of the chapters have city or towns. The titles are towns or cities, and some of them are titles you've given either of people or a set of people. Like, for example, you'll have the Quetta Boys.
Yes.
So you'll have Pashin, which is the first chapter, and then etc. etc. So just that gives you an idea of how you are also perceiving the journey. It's got these boxes of a fact box or folklore, as I was saying, or etc. Things which can rekindle either my memories or things which are closer to me, and then how I want to take from that body of work and transfer it into, whether it's a poem or a painting or whatever.
Okay.
Right? So you had a very interesting structure as it is, which was full of ingredients. It was not just...
Was it overload?
Not overload. It was just something which gets you, and you're like, this makes me feel like I'm actually traveling this. For me, Balochistan is like a dream. It's something which is vast. It's in my head. I've never been there, but one place which is always gunjoing, and even on PTV as kids we would see Ziyarat, because of Qaid-e-Azam's house, and so there's always been that sort of what is this area?
So would you want to go to Balochistan after reading the book?
Oh yeah, and I really have wanted to go to Balochistan.
Okay.
But somehow this has sort of mapped it up for me.
How is Culinary Tales of Balochistan's Ziyarat chapter any different?
We are invited into a very personal place, which is you. And you invite us into it. And that's what food is, right? You invite people, the moment I remember, let's say I would eat something as a child, and I'd be like to my father, you have to try it. Why do you do that? You do it because this is love, and you want the person to share that morsel which you just enjoyed, right?
Yes.
So I felt a lot like that through these historical things you were talking about. Like, you were talking about so many different people, and I'm not going to mention names because I might get them all mixed up with the facts. But it's a very affectionate way of going through history as well.
Okay, so now I see this beautiful sketch painting behind you. Tell me a little bit about that.
So that's basically my process, which I wanted to then turn into a little painting.
Okay, so
so again, it's all revolving around you and your book, because it's basically there's a map of Balochistan which is going to be accentuated. There are all the areas where you've traveled. There are the names and little stories which you had added of Sasi, Pannu, and some emperor. I've forgotten his name now. And that's me there with your book, and that's my muse. And just taking all my notes, and then I thought, why not just put it all together on one?
Okay.
And so it's literally like I looking at myself in my studio and saying, all right, well, why don't I just put everything on one surface and everything that I'm thinking of right now? And it's all obviously your book.
Okay.
So I've even mentioned your book here. Nino, this is so vast, all the stuff that you put together. So I too had to shortlist. I've sort of divided it in about six segments, I would say.
Okay.
And I've allowed myself a bit of a primitive genre. What I did enjoy is taking a little bit of a aesthetic look into it and a light-heartedness.
Okay.
Because food should not be something which you're going to run away from, but it's something which invites you. So it's colorful and you want to indulge in it.
Okay.
So I've made a series of these random recipes which I chose, and in a very primitive manner shown what, you have to put a tomato and you have to put an onion and a goat, but stuff like that. So a colorful aspect.
So is it 13 chapters? It follows 13 chapters?
Yeah, so there are about maybe 13 of those, and some of them just including all the names.
Okay.
So it's a very colorful, happy place. So the next is that I was very interested in the olives.
Okay.
And the olive trees, because that's essentially a symbol of peace and all that stuff, right? And it's nutritious, and it doesn't need a male and female, and its flower is this perfection with all that encompassed, and etc, etc, etc. So I was like, what, that is very interesting. Like, I would love to imagine myself like 100 years later and how the olive has influenced the recipes.
Achha.
And the oil, how it has influenced. But also, for example, there are things like ralli and all these motifs that they sort of geometric things, very fractal, very repetitive. How is the olive and its leaves and its olive tree flowers, how is that going to evolve in those patterns and motives?
I see.
So I had a lot of fun doing that. And then of course the water. That's one other segment. And water is life. Without water there ain't no cooking. There's nothing, right? And there's such a scarcity of it.
Yes.
In Balochistan, let alone, but in the world, it's a big problem.
That is true.
Right? That was one of the segments, and I'm just letting it develop into sub-segments into it. I cannot possibly take every aspect of it. Firstly, it's pointless because it's in the book. What am I going to sort of go through every single thing? No. But I have covered all the chapters with their recipes, but then you've got the recipes again in the book. I mean, you have to have the book to enjoy the work as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a collaboration.
Yes.
So the work is okay. So
you must buy the book.
it is a very inviting read.
Thank you.
Really.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you love Anjum Noon's paintings inspired by culinary tales of Balochistan.
Absolutely.
Please get in touch with Anjum or I if you have any further questions. Until next time, Khuda Hafiz.